Hi, my name is Hannah Harris. I'm filming this speech for my English 155 class. This is my process analysis speech and I'm filming it April 1st, 2018. Today I'm going to talk about how to make soap. Soap is made from three basic ingredients: lye, water, and oils. Lye is a caustic substance, but when mixed with oils, it and the oils bond together to become soap. This process is called saponification. First thing you need to do is get the different things you're going to need to make your soap. You need to get 3 bowls, you need to get some spatulas or spoons, and a whisk is very helpful also. You're going to need to get a scale because we always measure our ingredients for soap by weight and not by volume. And make sure you have a mold of some kind to pour your soap into. You can use lots of different things for a mold, but make sure you do not use aluminum for anything that's going to touch your soap, because aluminum and lye have a very bad reaction. They create dangerous fumes or could cause an explosion. So make sure you're not using that. Also, for a mold, if you pour boiling water in it and it holds up to that, it's probably going to be okay for your soap. Stick blender is also very helpful. You can use a spoon to mix your soap, but a stick blender is going to speed up the process considerably. So whenever you are working with lye, make sure you're wearing eye protection and gloves, because lye is a caustic substance and it will burn you if you get it onto you. So after we've gathered all our stuff we need, we're going to measure out our ingredients. The recipe I use a lot, it calls for 6.4 ounces of canola oil, 1.3 ounces of castor oil, 6.7 ounces of coconut oil, 9.6 ounces of olive oil, and 8 ounces of palm oil. You're going to measure these into your biggest bowl, and then you're also going to measure out 12.1 ounces of water into one of your small bowls, and 4.4 ounces of lye into the other one. And at this point you would also prepare any colors or fragrances you are going to use for your soap making. But if this is your first time making soap, I would not recommend using colors or fragrances, as they affect the way the soap making process works and makes it a little more difficult to control. So go ahead and just make a plain batch of soap the first time so that you know how the process works real well before you add colors and stuff. So after you've measured all your ingredients, you're going to take your lye and pour it into your water, never the other way around, because it will splash up and cause burns if you pour the water into the lye. And after you're going to mix your lye water until all the lye is dissolved, and let it sit until the mixture is clear. That shows that it's cool enough to be made into soap. And then once it's cool enough, you're going to pour your lye water into your oils, and then using your stick blender, you're going to mix it up until you get to what is known as trace. Trace is when, if I lift up my stick blender out of my oils and soap, and I drizzle the batter back into the pot, if it lays on top of the batter for just a couple seconds, that's what's known as trace, and that shows that the batter is thickening up enough to be made into soap. It's kind of like making instant pudding. If you're whisking it and you lift it up and the pudding drips off back into the bowl, and you see it lay on top, that's kind of what we're going for, but not as thick. So once you get to trace, that would be the point where you would add your colors and fragrances, if you're using any. And then you're going to pour it into your mold, and you're going to want to tap your mold a couple times on the surface of your table when you've poured your soap into it. That'll help any air bubbles rise to the surface. You're also going to want to spray it with some 90% rubbing alcohol, which will help the bubbles burst and keep it nice and pretty on top. And then you're going to leave it in the mold for 3 to 10 days until it comes out easily. And then you're going to take it out of the mold. If it's in a loaf mold like this, you're going to need to cut it. And then you're going to let it sit for at least 4 weeks. This makes sure that the oils and the lye continue to saponify and are completely saponified before you use it. Because if they're not completely saponified, you're going to get your skin's going to get dried out real quick using the soap. And also, the 4 weeks allows the water to evaporate out, which will give you a harder bar and one that will last longer in the shower. So after your soap has cured for 4 weeks, you can go ahead and use it, like these ones here, and just enjoy your soap. Thank you very much.